Break your tours to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, several people were able to escape from a raging house fire in WVII yesterday, but one person was killed after being trapped. We'll have those details ahead. Plus, longtime Hancock County Sheriff Scott Kane is not seeking re-election after 40 years in the department. And we went back to the Piscataquis River to check on those ice dams. We'll have more on that coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather today, it'll be a partly cloudy day today with a chance of snow showers later on. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecasts. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Hey Susan, happy Monday afternoon. We have plenty of advisories posted, high wind warnings, flood watches, even storm warnings. The winter weather advisory is dropping at around 10 a.m. so we're wrapping that up. Notice the wind advisory as well. So again, we're starting to wrap some of these alerts up at this time. So the warm front is lifting from the south and going toward the north. So it's switching a lot of the precipitation that's wintry over to rain, and that will also be accompanied with some thunderstorms as the atmosphere becomes a little more unstable. So with that taking place, don't be surprised if you notice some thunderstorms today, as this is a very large and dynamic system that is currently taking place. You can see a lot of the lightning that's showing up on the map at this moment in time. So here's Futurecast showing showers and thunderstorms that's taking place. Very windy later on tonight, and as we head towards your Tuesday, a lot of improvement as we start to dry things out and get some sunshine. Now, gusty winds will reach up to 40 miles per hour today. 50 to 60 mile per hour winds on the way coming up later on tonight and the parts of early Tuesday morning. Now your hourly forecast moving forward, temperatures rising into the 40s and 50s, plenty of precipitation. Don't be surprised if you notice some thunderstorms as well. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
All right, thanks, Devin. Well, it was a tragic scene Thursday in the town of WVII. Several people were able to escape from a raging house fire early yesterday morning, but an elderly woman was killed after getting trapped inside. Alex Schley has more from the scene.
Just before 1:30 Thursday morning, first responders received reports of a house fire on Route 168 in WVII.
Looked out my window so I come run over, and but the flames must have been, a lot higher than that thing, so 50, 60 feet high.
Stephen Thurlow lives across the street and is related to the homeowners. He says that at that point, first responders had not yet arrived, and not seeing anyone outside, he ran back home to call 911. Fire crews arrived soon after. According to Lincoln Fire, nearly 20,000 gallons of water were shuttled to the scene. Thurlow says a man, a woman, 3 children, and a dog were able to escape, but an 84-year-old woman did not make it out.
They got the kids out. And then I think she wanted to go back in and try to get Jeannie, but I guess they barely made it out. And Brian grabbed her because he knew that she wouldn't make it. So I think they tried to go back in, but it was so smoky that you don't last long when you can't breathe.
Lincoln Fire officials returned to the home several times throughout the day after the fire reignited. The investigation into the cause of the fire has since been turned over to the Maine State Fire Marshal's office. In WVII, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The State Fire Marshal's office has since confirmed the woman's death. Officials say her body was located and then transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Augusta to determine the cause of death and for a positive identification. Meanwhile, a home in Hudson was damaged by a fire on Thursday, but officials say thanks to mutual aid, the home is still salvageable. Officials say at about 2:20, dispatch got a call for a fire with flames showing on Old Town Road in Hudson. Surrounding departments as far away as Herman were called to respond. Residents were home at the time, but everyone made it out safely, including pets. Also, no first responders were injured there. There's extensive smoke and water damage in the home, but it is not a total loss and can be rebuilt. Officials stress the need for manpower and mutual aid.
It's just really hard these days. Most of our guys in Hudson were at work. I happen to be out of the air, short ways out of the area. It's just really hard. when you have a working fire like this. But again, thank God for mutual aid, our friends from Glenburn, Bradford, Corinth.
The State Fire Marshal's office has been called to investigate. No word on what caused the fire. Officials say several Maine schools dealt with bomb threats Thursday morning. In Penobscot County, Old Town Middle School and Dr. Lewis Libby School in Milford were among those targeted by threatening phone calls. The principal and superintendent of the Milford Elementary School, Trish Clark, told ABC7 Fox 22 that students were immediately evacuated and taken to a safe location where many were picked up for the day. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office, along with a Bangor Police K-9 team, cleared the school. Sheriff Troy Morton says there is no immediate threat to the public.
Even though it appeared quickly through the information that this may in fact be a hoax, we have to take these seriously, and then it also helps us to make sure that school processes are in place and that our response is appropriate.
The Dr. Lewis Libby School reopened around noon. However, classes remain canceled for the day. Sheriff Morton says the threat is not believed to be credible. The investigation is still ongoing. Meanwhile, a traffic stop in Clinton led to an arrest and a seizure of a substantial amount of drugs. The Clinton Police Department said that the stop happened back in February. They said an officer pulled over a car driven by a man they identified as 53-year-old Louis E. Howard Jr. The officer discovered Howard had an outstanding warrant, and then he was arrested. Police say during Howard's arrest, drugs were discovered on his person, triggering a search of the vehicle. They seized roughly 2,000 grams of suspected methamphetamine, 147 grams of suspected cocaine base, and many other substances. Police say the combined estimated street value of the substances is nearly $50,000. Howard now faces multiple drug charges. Meanwhile, the latest weekly survey by the Maine Department of Energy Resources shows heating oil prices have increased $1.15 a gallon since February 23rd, prior to the Iran conflict. Heating oil prices jumped to a statewide average of $4.97 a gallon on March 16th. And according to the survey, kerosene prices reached $5.87 a gallon. Residents who are low on fuel and can't afford to fill their tanks may qualify for emergency delivery through April 30th. Emergency funds are available at nonprofits, churches, municipalities, and other organizations. For more information, you can call 211 or contact a local community action agency. Hancock County is preparing for a change in command as longtime Sheriff Scott Kane is not seeking re-election. After nearly 40 years of working within the department, our Grace Blanchard sat down with Sheriff Kane to learn what's next.
Scott Kane, may I help you?
A new era of leadership is ahead for the Hancock County Sheriff's Office, as Sheriff Scott Kane has opted not to seek a new term.
I'll miss it, I'm sure, some, but some of it I won't. I'll get a chance to spend more time with my family.
Kane has been sheriff since 2015, but his full-time law enforcement career began in the early 90s as a patrol officer and DARE coordinator for the county.
That's pretty close to 40 years total, and I'm just ready to relax a little bit and take it easy.
He shared that he's been most fond of his work as a DARE officer, something he continued to do until 2020. The following year in 2021, the sheriff's office faced a devastating loss when one of their own deputies, Luke Gross, was killed in the line of duty.
That was tough. He was a good friend and a good officer and a good family.
Two candidates with ties to the sheriff's office are hoping to take Kane's place. Republican Corey Bagley, who previously served as a chief deputy, and Democrat Dakota Dupuis, a current lieutenant. While Kane has not officially made an endorsement, he believes his lieutenant would make a strong candidate.
You'll see some posts from me on my Facebook page soon, and no question in my mind, he would be the best choice.
As for Sheriff Kane,
well, I plan on winning the lottery.
He's stepping away from law enforcement, but he says he's not quite ready to retire and is currently exploring what's next.
Thank you for trusting me, and I just hope that continues as we move forward when the new person takes my chair and takes the wheel here.
In Ellsworth, Grace Blanchard, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, best of luck to him. Back in November, voters in Maine approved Question 2, the Extreme Risk Protection Order or Red Flag Law. Now a bill in the legislature seeks to repeal it. The Red Flag Law temporarily prevents someone a court deems dangerous from accessing a deadly weapon. It would also empower families to get help when a loved one is in crisis and aims to help prevent another tragedy like the one in Lewiston. Maine voters passed the law by 63%. On Thursday, a majority of the legislature's Judiciary Committee voted ought to not pass on a bill that would have repealed the Red Flag Law. Some members expressed concern that there was no public hearing for that bill.
I'm not a supporter of this bill as it is currently written myself. I just cannot in good conscience override the will of the people, especially for something that's hardly taken effect yet.
The proposed bill now moves to a full vote in the legislature. An ice jam on the Piscataquis River led to serious flooding in a small town earlier this week. The water has since subsided, but our Doug Banks reports concerns are still prevalent there.
Doug Banks here. I'm currently standing on the town line of Maxfield, and just to the left of me is the Piscataquis River, where the water is free-flowing. But where the water is flowing to on this Thursday is a different story.
Over the last couple of days, we had a pretty good sized ice jam, got into some of the narrow parts of the river.
What you see behind me here is where the water is flowing to. It's into what's called an ice jam. It stretches as far as I could see in both directions of the river. It stretches the width of the Piscataquis River as well. Just to get perspective on how big these chunks of ice are, I'm 6 foot even, and that thing is well over my head. And this is just one example of the many chunks of ice that are scattered along the river. And that ice jam caused serious damage for the town of Maxfield. On Wednesday, there was rapid flooding. And here on Thursday on North Howland Road, you can still see remnants of that damage.
The water came up about 4 feet a couple nights ago.
Driveways leading to houses just a few feet away from the water's edge are frozen over. And even the front of one driveway has completely washed away.
We see it coming up the other night, and I was hoping it wasn't going to wash out, but it did, and it happened fast. It was either 08 or 09. It had washed out real good. Hasn't happened since, and I thought after the Fishway it would never happen again, but since I've lived in the town, this is probably the best one right here for flooding out.
As of this morning, it was down about 8 inches and stopped flooding out the road on North Howland.
As water levels continue to decrease, authorities here say they'll continue to monitor the situation and those living in the area.
If it continues to rise again, we'll go and mitigate issues with the houses or anybody needs supplies. But right now, I think we're in a pretty good spot for it to keep decreasing the water level.
Maxfield, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the Maine Maritime Training Ship is heading back to Maine this weekend. We'll have those details when we come back.
Napa knows every driver deserves quality parts. With 30 locations in Maine, Maine's largest network of parts has everything you need to keep your vehicle and equipment running smoothly. Starting now through March 29th, save big during our Napa Gold Filter Sale. From oil, air, and fuel to light and heavy-duty filters, every Napa Gold filter is up to 60% off. Find the filter that fits your needs and get to the moments that matter most. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Is your Maine issued license or ID expiring soon? Good news! You may be able to skip the trip to the BMV and renew it online, including if your license or state ID is Real ID compliant. Visit maine.gov/SOS/BMV today to find out if you're eligible to renew online. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Department of Transportation is closing a bridge in Dover-Foxcroft. The Dover Bridge over the Piscataquis River will be closed as part of a replacement project. The bridge over Essex Street will be closed to through traffic from March 25th to December 1st of 2027. Maine DOT says drivers and pedestrians should follow detour signs. They say motorists should expect delays and use caution while traveling through that detour zone. Meanwhile, as June primaries draw closer and the list of candidates seeking Maine's congressional offices remains lengthy, some voters are hoping to connect with candidates before the ballot. Our Callie Warren takes us to the Hancock County Democratic Committee, where they are doing just that.
It's a very important process, I think, for people to come and get information and ask questions.
With a packed ballot on both sides of the aisle for multiple offices and a matter of months until June primaries, Democrat voters of Hancock County are prioritizing connection before the election.
We don't make endorsements of any candidates prior to the primary. We're just trying to, let people have an opportunity here to ask their questions in here.
Candidates have been attending the committee's meetings to field questions on everything from healthcare to human rights. Thursday, congressional hopeful Joe Baldacci made his voice heard.
We as a people can work together and make a difference and make our home state, our country, better.
Governor Janet Mills, running for U.S. Senate, made a virtual appearance discussing some of the values she wants voters to know.
I'm proud of what I've accomplished in Maine, here in Maine, but there's so much more work left to be done, and it has to be done at the federal level.
Committee Chair Myers says she hopes to welcome more candidates before June rolls around.
And so we've got a couple more meetings before the primaries where we'll continue to, we'll have a couple of candidates in each one.
In Ellsworth, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, it's been a long time coming, and the wait is almost over for Maine Maritime Academy. Their training ship, State of Maine, is officially on its way home. MMA posted this video of the ship departing the Philadelphia Navy Yard shortly after 2 o'clock on Thursday morning on her maiden voyage back to Maine. The ship is expected to arrive at the Portland Ocean Terminal at 4 p.m. this Saturday. MMA said in their post, quote, "This moment represents years of dedication, collaboration, and tireless effort from so many people it made possible. Thank you to everyone who played a part," end quote. Earlier this week, the Warden Service reminded folks to be cautious of changing ice conditions and to take care when venturing out. In that story, one woman recounted losing her family member's truck after it fell through the ice. On Wednesday, the final chapter of that cautionary tale unfolded as the truck was pulled from the waters of Moosehead Lake days after it broke through the ice. The Island Falls woman said she was driving to shore to use the restroom when she heard a crack. Suddenly, the truck was submerged. She was able to escape through the back window. Wardens say ice conditions are rapidly evolving with overall warmer temperatures, and folks should be diligent in thoroughly checking ice conditions. The time now is 6:18. After the break, Israel and Iran again trading airstrikes amid growing fears about global energy crisis. That story ahead. Plus, a documentary with Holocaust history will be showed at UMaine. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
Keep your next building project on track when you plan ahead with help from Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center specialists offer professional plans with customizable 3D renderings available to bring your project to life. Once your design is finalized and approved, you'll receive a full materials list. And when you buy all your materials from them, Hammond will refund your design fees. Get your building project off to the right start when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Come in and visit AMHG Works, Bangor's #1 gift shop, located at 36 Springer Drive in the Rennie's Plaza. We have special gifts for you, your furry companion, and that special someone you are in need of a gift for. It's worth a trip in for unique American-made gifts. Here at AMHG Works, everything is American-made, and we are open 7 days a week for your convenience. American-made home goods. We look forward to seeing you.
The Bangor Stamp Club is teaming up with UMaine Judaic Studies Department to show a documentary about stamps stolen from Jews during the Holocaust. The film is called The Stamp Thief. It was created by former Seinfeld producer Gary Gilbert. A screening of the documentary will take place in room 100 of the Donald Corbett Business Building on the UMO campus. The event is free and open to the public.
It's about German soldiers that took stamp collections from Jewish people as they went off to concentration camps. So these guys put together a film crew, and they went over to Europe, and they found these stamps, and they made this movie.
Those who attended the movie, which will take place on April 12th at 2 p.m., will also have the chance to participate in a question and answer session with the film creators following that showing. The time now is 6:21. Let's get a full look at our weather forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. Advisories posted. A small craft advisory up along the coast until Sunday at around 5 a.m. We're also working on dropping this flood advisory at around noon coming up later on today. But in the meantime, wave heights, not terrible, at least just yet. They'll be increasing coming up. They're at around 3 feet for the time being. But look at this 4 to 8 foot wave heights being observed farther out towards sea at this moment in time. On land, we've had some snow passing through last night and a parts of this morning. We are going to be losing the snow coming up and even getting some sunshine peeking out at least for a bit, but we are going to be watching another wave of energy coming up, and that's that wave of energy right there. That's going to be moving in as a mixture of rain and snow. Today is the first day of spring. Not quite going to feel like it with the rain and snow coming up. But as we do move forward in time, again, we're going to get some sunshine peeking out for a bit with more clouds moving in for the afternoon. There is the rain and snow coming in overnight. We're going to push that through. And then just some clouds lingering as we head towards your Saturday. We'll get some breaks in the clouds coming up Saturday afternoon and a Saturday evening. Some more clouds on the way Sunday morning. And look at that, even more snow farther off towards the west. So with regards to the snow accumulations, here's what we're looking at. Around a couple inches of snowfall farther off towards the north before we're all finished up, with lesser snow accumulations farther down toward the south. Not much of a wind problem coming up, maybe a few gusts, especially along the coastline. But then we'll have to watch for everyone to get involved with some gusty winds as we head towards your Saturday, up to around 20 miles per hour. So for today, afternoon rain and snow, highs in the mid-40s, and that south wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight rain and snow showers, lower 30s for the overnight low, and that north wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, low 40s, mostly cloudy and breezy, and that northwest wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Snow chances Sunday, a decent chance with highs in the mid-30s, and then mid-30s again for your Monday, a chance for snow. Partly cloudy Tuesday, highs in the upper 30s.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
It's the verdict everyone's talking about. Corey Richards, guilty. And tonight, stunning, exclusive interviews you'll only see on 2020.
She was my best friend. Eric didn't deserve to die.
Tonight on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Unwind with a massage. Let me take away the stress of everyday life and allow you to fully relax. I offer Swedish, deep tissue, and prenatal massage. Healing Strength Massage in Bangor is your place for relaxing therapeutic massage.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
The Sylvia Ross Home in Bangor provides 5 professional levels of care and support for residents. We have access to a registered nurse on campus 24/7. Our weekly entertainment consists of a variety of live musical performances and bingo games twice a week. Our on-site beauty salon is available with a professional stylist, and we have 2 libraries that offer computers and Wi-Fi.
Sylvia Ross Home is a warm, welcoming community. Please join us anytime for a tour and lunch.
A bad job for someone who counts slow.
A stripper, Steve.
Wait a minute! 31, 32.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to Israel's prime minister denying that he dragged the U.S. into war with Iran. We're learning more about the decision to attack a major gas field in Iran, which has triggered a wave of attacks on oil and gas facilities, driving up prices. And new questions this morning about a $100 million American stealth fighter jet hit by suspected enemy fire over Iran. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more.
Overnight, Israel and Iran again trading airstrikes amid growing fears over a global energy crisis. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu now saying he will not attack Iran's oil and gas facilities again for now. President Trump has said he didn't know in advance about Israel's strike on Iran's key gas field that triggered the escalation. Netanyahu publicly backing Trump's position, but 2 Israeli sources told ABC News that's not true and that the U.S. was informed. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge also asking Netanyahu about his role in making the case for the war.
Many Americans are asking that question, whether you misled their government into starting this war.
Well, I misled no one, and I didn't have to convince President Trump about the need to prevent Iran from developing its nuclear program.
Iran has continued to strike more facilities across the region, including Israel's largest oil refinery and here in Qatar, where officials say damage at a major liquefied natural gas terminal could take up to 5 years to repair. The administration saying Iran's military is devastated.
Their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. We're flying wherever we want, Pete. We have nobody even shooting at us.
But yesterday, Iran hitting an American F-35 stealth fighter jet on a combat mission over Iran. Sources say the pilot safely made an emergency landing at a U.S. base. The jet cost roughly $100 million. President Trump downplaying the cost of the war as the Pentagon requests another $200 billion in funding.
We're in very good shape, but we want to be in the best shape.
France says it could now be willing to escort tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, which remains paralyzed, but only once major fighting stops. Patrick Reevell, ABC News in Doha.
President Trump's face could soon be on U.S. money. A commission handpicked by Trump himself has approved the design for a 24-karat gold coin to commemorate America's 250th birthday. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, as we approach America's 250th birthday, a new coin could soon feature President Trump. The Federal Commission of Fine Arts, whose members were appointed by Trump, has approved the 24-karat commemorative gold coin, despite backlash from Democrats who question whether it's legal.
I know it's a very strong and a very tough image of him.
During a video call, a member of the commission who also designed President Trump's White House ballroom proposed that the coin be large.
I think the president likes big things.
The coin's size and value have not been determined yet, but another group, the nonpartisan Citizens Coinage Advisory Council, speaking out, saying if you issue a coin with a portrait of a sitting president, it will send a message that the sitting president is a king. and calling it a huge irony to celebrate U.S. independence from the British monarchy with coins of the president. Federal law prohibits living presidents from appearing on currency.
It seems very clear that it's outrageous. It's illegal to put the president's likeness on an official coin.
But supporters argue a commemorative coin is not currency per se, and they say the Treasury Secretary is allowed to mint gold coins at his discretion. As for the new White House ballroom, a judge this week questioned its legality because Congress did not sign off on the plans. The judge's decision is expected next month.
The Trump coin would be limited in production. It's unclear when it might be released. Other commemorative coins have sold for thousands of dollars. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
A fire at a car parts factory in South Korea has injured 50 people, 35 of them seriously. Eyewitness footage shows massive plumes of smoke rising from the site of the fire. The fire happened in the city of Daejeon. South Korea's National Fire Emergency Agency confirmed in a statement on Facebook that the fire broke out on March 20th. They also stated that they called on many units to respond to that blaze. About 240 personnel were deployed to fight the fire, but the agency also said that they were concerned the number of injuries could potentially rise. Coming up on the second half of the newscast, the folks from Hirundo Wildlife Refuge put together an informational video for us. Don't go away.
See that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too,
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
Bob's is bringing the wow back. You can wait for a sale price, or you can get wow-worthy prices every day at Bob's. Like this Playday sectional for just $7.99, delivered in days. Or this real marble dining set in 2 finishes. And with our everyday low prices plus flexible financing options, your tax refund goes further at Bob's.
And with tons of styles ready to ship and old furniture removal, you can get your furniture fast and easy.
Wow!
Oh, my Bob.
Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With decades of experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing. Thank you, Senator Collins. Please continue delivering for T1 families.
See that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Enjoy your new car. Yeah, you too,
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Kona SE for $139 a month or get 3.49% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is March 20th, 2026, and this is also International Day of Happiness. Happiness is how we should all be. Unfortunately, emotions like anger and sadness can get in the way for some of us, but this is a day that encourages us to look for the silver linings in life and do some of the things that lift our spirits today. I think all good advice there. Well, now it's time for some history. On this day in history, back in 1815, Napoleon returned to Paris after escaping exile, beginning his 100 Days rule. And in 1852, Harriet Beecher Stowe's influential novel about slavery was first published in book form. Uncle Tom's Cabin would become the best-selling novel of the 19th century. And in 1854, opponents of slavery formed the Republican Party at a schoolhouse in Ripton, Wisconsin. In 1930, Harlan Sanders founded Kentucky Fried Chicken. He had begun selling it from his gas station in North Corbin, Kentucky, after perfecting his secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. It became so popular that franchises were opened across the country, hence the restaurants we have today. And in 1976, kidnapped newspaper heiress Patricia Hearst was convicted of robbing a bank in San Francisco with the Symbionese Liberation Army. Her attorneys argued that she had been brainwashed and was suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. Her sentence was later commuted by President Jimmy Carter in 1979 and was fully pardoned by President Clinton in 2001. Now, some time for birthdays today. Today's birthdays include Barron Trump, who was turning 20 years old today. Actress Holly Hunter is 68, and director Spike Lee is turning 69 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today. Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, let's get things rolling this morning. We do have a small craft advisory that is now up, and that will last until Sunday at around 5 a.m. And we should lose this flood advisory at around noon coming up later on today. As we do move things forward, we've had a little bit of returns with the snow that has since passed through, and we are going to be losing that for now before we get a little bit more wintry precipitation passing through later on. Let's zoom things out. There is that energy right there, and that is going to be moving in our direction with some more snow accumulations that will be on the way coming up. So futurecast moving forward, as one wave of snow clears up, we'll get some sunshine peeking out for a bit, and then we're going to get more snow moving in. There it is right there, some rain and snow. Then it clears up as we head towards early Saturday morning. Today's the first day of spring. Not quite going to feel like it, really, but gusty winds, not much of a problem today, at least for a bit. Maybe a few gusts coming up, but really, we're going to be okay. All right, your hourly forecast moving forward, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. More clouds for the afternoon. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. Well, DoorDash opens a new opportunity for gig workers to become trainers for artificial intelligence tools. The delivery service says it's created a new app called Tasks, which lets gig economy workers earn extra cash by completing quick activities that become learning agents for AI. The tasks can be short in time frame, and some may be done in between deliveries. Tasks range from something as simple as taking pictures of a restaurant dish to recording spontaneous conversations in languages other than English, or scanning shelves in stores to show what items are in stock. Bloomberg reports the content submitted by workers will be evaluated by in-house AI models and those made by its partner companies in retail, insurance, hospitality, and tech. The app is currently available in select places in the U.S., excluding main hubs such as California, New York City, Seattle, and Colorado. Researchers at Duke University are looking at whether a nasal swab can help detect early signs of Alzheimer's disease. Brad Goldstein at the Duke School of Medicine is leading that research. His lab studies issued related to smell, including smell loss. Goldstein says there are strong associations between loss of smell and neurodegenerational diseases. For the study, researchers use a spray to numb the nose and then take a brush to take a tissue sample.
The act of taking the swab or biopsy is pretty easy, and the analysis that we've been able to do on these biopsies does show that changes are definitely detectable, early.
Alzheimer's develops slowly as abnormal proteins build up in the brain over many years. Goldstein says the standard ways for detecting the proteins are more invasive. The swab procedure would be simple and less invasive. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
The act of taking the
When the unexpected happens,
Really?
we'll get you running again, uninterrupted. Together, we're United. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At CNR Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the CNR promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with CNR Carpet Cleaning.
Say sorry. Your Honor. Is not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, folks. With March Madness kicking off this week, some local businesses in Bangor are gearing up for what should be a great few weeks of both basketball and business. Heroes Sports Grill and Entertainment Center is no exception. The local sports bar is owned by Quinn Parody, who says every year during the tournament, people from all over town come together to eat, get drinks, and of course, watch some basketball.
I definitely see an increased level of traffic coming through. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's kind of like a sign that spring and summer is on its way, and it's a great basketball tournament that everyone comes out and supports. It starts picking up a little bit more, depending on obviously who's in the games and stuff like that. But last year with Cooper Flag in it was a great effect, and the community really came out and supported that. So.
Heroes has a wide selection of food, anything from wings and burgers to pizza and breadsticks, that combined with an equally wide range of beer and cocktails. Parody says it's the perfect spot to catch every game this March Madness season.
Yeah, it's good over the course of the next 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people will be out and about, and weather looks good, and it's an exciting time to watch some basketball. I'll come on out and have some pizza, breadsticks, and wings, and you won't be disappointed.
I would do some things for one of those cocktails right now. I think the Wisconsin Badgers would as well. The first Thursday and Friday in March Madness are two of the best days we have on the sports calendar, and Thursday did not disappoint. We started off with TCU and Ohio State in a great game there to kick off things in the day. Nebraska handling Troy after many picking Troy to upset Nebraska. Another favorite getting it done against an upset pick. Louisville beat South Florida 83-79. And then there it is. The Wisconsin Badgers, the 5 seed, fell to the 12 seed High Point 83-82 in a track meet. And then Duke survives against 16 seed Siena. They actually set a record. No 16 seed has ever had a double-digit lead at halftime over a 1 seed. Vanderbilt gets it done against McNeese. Arkansas gets it done against Hawaii. Michigan State gets it done against North Dakota State. VCU with the upset win over UNC. They were down 19, came all the way back in that one. Number 10, Texas A&M gets it done against St. Mary's. Michigan handles business in the second half against the number 16 seed Howard. The number 11 Texas gets the win over BYU. We go to the ice now where the Bruins return home to the TD Garden on Thursday. The Bees are hoping for 2 points against the Jets in the first period. It's going to be who else but David Pastrnak. He's had an unbelievable year. He opens the scoring and gives the Bruins a 1-0 lead. Then in the second period, American hero Connor Hellebuyck, he's going to mishandle the puck, and Lucas Reichel pokes it in his Bruins debut. He had a goal and an assist in this call from Providence. Still in the second, Bruins on the attack again. The puck's all over the place. It finds its way in. We got to take another look at this one. How did this puck go? It's bouncing around, but Middlestat seems to backhand it in there at the end to give the Bruins a 3-0 lead. In the third now, it's going to be Pavel Zacha. He fires one past Hellebuyck to make it 4-0, and the Boston Bruins would cruise to a 6-1 victory. Folks, it is hard to believe that it's been almost 4 years since Tom Brady retired from the NFL, but he may not be done quite yet as the Flag Football Classic takes place on Saturday. He and several other former Patriots will take the field once again. The Flag Football Classic is the first event of its kind and will feature former and current NFL stars as well as several well-known social media influencers. There will be 2 teams participating, and each one drafted their squad on Wednesday. Team founders will be led by future Hall of Famer Tom Brady. Joining him is his former partner in crime, Rob Gronkowski, as well as Stephon Diggs, Devonta Smith, and Von Miller, among others. Their opponent, Team Wildcat, will feature Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels at the helm, with Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Hopkins, and others at the skill positions. Flag Football Classic will kick off at 4 p.m. on Saturday. As much as fans enjoyed the Pit and Memorial Gymnasium, a state-of-the-art arena is coming to Orono in the coming years. Maine Athletics broke ground on Morse Arena in 2025. The arena will be located right where the old football stadium Jumbotron was. UMaine shared some drone photos of the progress on Thursday. Clearly so much work to do, but you can see the outline of the arena clearly and how it will fit into campus. Maine Athletics says the arena will be open during the 2027-28 season. As far away as that sounds, I think it'll be here before we know it. That's all the time we have for sports. Right back after the break.
What matters more? A bank with innovative products or one that cares for the community? At Bangor Savings Bank, we think it's both because our innovation helps customers build stronger credit, earn rewards when shopping local, give teens independence and financial experience, and simplify business with local solutions. So what matters more? You.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brooklyn.
Welcome back, everyone. It's definitely mud season here in Maine, that time of year when snow continues to melt and the ground begins to thaw after the long, cold winter. But have you ever wondered how that spring thaw is impacting the environment around us? Well, our friends at Hirundo Wildlife Refuge take us into the field to learn more.
Hello everyone, my name is Brianna Guy. I'm the program director of Hirundo Wildlife Refuge, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity today to talk to you about something that is probably on your mind this early spring, which is mud season. But in order to do that, I kind of have to rewind back into winter when we had much more snowpack than what you're seeing behind me now. This winter was really a Maine winter, and it's the first one we've had in a while where we've gotten a lot of snowstorms, and not just a lot of snowstorms, but each snowstorm brought us a good amount of snow. 6, 12, 24, maybe even more inches at a time, depending on where you live in Maine. And not only did we get that snow, but it stayed around. So the temperatures remained cold. We didn't get rainstorms like we have the past couple of years. So we really built up a nice snowpack this year. But now it's spring, and all of this snow needs to go somewhere. And as it melts, we're seeing lots of flooding, lots of strong rivers and streams, and definitely seeing a lot of mud. While the flooding, the muddy roads, and the muddy trails might be frustrating, it's also important to know that these floods are super important for the ecology of our area. Floods can support some really important habitats, like the floodplains that we have here at Hirundo. Specifically, Hirundo has silver maple floodplains. So what is a floodplain? A floodplain is flat land next to a river or stream that naturally floods during high water times. These areas are designed by nature to hold and slow down water, reducing damage downstream, and it also supports really rich ecosystems. With these floods comes lots of nutrient transfer between the land and the water. Floodplains provide slower, calm backwaters and are a direct connection between the river and the land, which allows for the natural movement of lots of our wildlife. Now, the presence of silver maples are obviously important to our silver maple floodplain, and these trees are really impressive. They can withstand being in these floods for weeks to even months at a time. This gives them a really important advantage to being able to live in these areas where other trees can't. So the next time you're frustrated putting on your muck boots just to go walk the dog, or you're washing your car for the 4th time in 1 week, try and remember the ecological importance of the melting of this snow and the floods and the mud season in general. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that this knowledge helps you enjoy this season a little bit more. At Horendo's youth camps, we love to teach about topics like these. This year for Earth Day, we are fundraising with a goal of $6,000, which will be used towards our Horendo camps. Your donation will not only fund us getting materials to run these camps, but could even be funding our scholarships to bring more youth out into nature. Every little bit helps. Help us reach our goal by April 25th, Earth Day. Thanks again, and we hope to see you out at the refuge.
Now, here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Start your morning right at Clifton General Store. Fresh coffee and hot breakfast. Family owned and operated. Alrighty, here we go. Advisories posted. A small craft advisory up along the coast until Sunday at around 5 a.m. We're also working on dropping this flood advisory at around noon coming up later on today. But in the meantime, wave heights, not terrible, at least just yet. They'll be increasing coming up. They're at around 3 feet for the time being. But look at this 4 to 8 foot wave heights being observed farther out towards sea at this moment in time. On land, we've had some snow passing through last night and a parts of this morning. We are going to be losing the snow coming up and even getting some sunshine peeking out at least for a bit, but we are going to be watching another wave of energy coming up, and that's that wave of energy right there. That's going to be moving in as a mixture of rain and snow. Today is the first day of spring. Not quite going to feel like it with the rain and snow coming up. But as we do move forward in time, again, we're going to get some sunshine peeking out for a bit with more clouds moving in for the afternoon. There is the rain and snow coming in overnight. We're going to push that through. And then just some clouds lingering as we head towards your Saturday. We'll get some breaks in the clouds coming up Saturday afternoon and a Saturday evening. Some more clouds on the way Sunday morning. And look at that, even more snow farther off towards the west. So with regards to the snow accumulations, here's what we're looking at. Around a couple inches of snowfall farther off towards the north before we're all finished up, with lesser snow accumulations farther down toward the south. Not much of a wind problem coming up, maybe a few gusts, especially along the coastline. But then we'll have to watch for everyone to get involved with some gusty winds as we head towards your Saturday, up to around 20 miles per hour. So for today, afternoon rain and snow, highs in the mid-40s, and that south wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overnight rain and snow showers, lower 30s for the overnight low, and that north wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, low 40s, mostly cloudy and breezy, and that northwest wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Clifton General Store. Snow chances Sunday, a decent chance with highs in the mid-30s, and then mid-30s again for your Monday, a chance for snow. Partly cloudy Tuesday, highs in the upper 30s.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms elevating lives.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
It's the verdict everyone's talking about.
Ori Richards guilty.
And tonight, stunning, exclusive interviews you'll only see on 2020.
She was my best friend. Eric didn't deserve to die.
Tonight on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
He was constantly texting me from this number.
Am I going to see a text from you on April 2nd?
No.
Over talking really dating who's got money. You think that's someone other than you, sir?
Hot Bench. Friday at 3 on ABC 7.
Therapy dogs are now bringing some comfort to the courtroom. Nevada-based nonprofit Courtroom Critters has been training dogs to bring some ease to court. Founder and president Stephanie Lafredo says her mission is to help people suffering from traumatic crimes and severe anxiety. Lafredo said each dog must undergo a multi-tiered training process, but most importantly, learn how to stay quiet and stay calm. The nonprofit currently has 50 elite therapy dogs and 10 certified canines. Some judges say the dogs can make a big difference for those facing stressful court appearances.
Once the judges accept it and they actually see the value and they see the smiles and especially the decrease in anxiety, when anyone sees this, it's like a domino effect.
While Nevada does not have specific state laws allowing trained dogs in the courtrooms, that could change as demand for this program continues to grow. Meanwhile, cherry blossom season welcomes springtime to Tokyo on Thursday. Cherry blossom spotters from the Japanese government's meteorological agency announcing the blooming of the nation's favorite flower, which marks the official start of the season. 61 blossoms were discovered when agency officials examined a specimen tree. More than 5 is the minimum needed to make that announcement. This year's blooming is 5 days earlier than usual. Cherry blossom trees usually reach their peak in late March to early April and have been a big part of Japanese culture for many centuries. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
Come in and visit AMHG Works, Bangor's #1 gift shop, located at 36 Springer Drive and the Rennie's Plaza. We have special gifts for you, your furry companion, and that special someone you are in need of a gift for. It's worth a trip in for unique American-made gifts. Here at AMHG Works, everything is American-made, and we are open 7 days a week for your convenience. American-made home goods. We look forward to seeing you.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a 5th-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Maine traditions you gotta do. Catch a sunrise from atop Cadillac Mountain, dig into baked beans at a community supper, and visit the Eastern Maine Sportsman Show. Make plans now for the 86th Eastern Maine Sportsman Show at the University of Maine in Orono, March 20th to 22nd. Come see all kinds of exhibitors and programs, from archery to fly tying to hunting to fishing. Everything you need to enjoy Maine and the outdoors is at the Eastern Maine Sportsman Show, March 20th to 22nd at the University of Maine in Orono. Make it your
all across America.
Good morning. Hello.
Wherever we are,
welcome.
It feels like home.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Man, it's good to be home. Good morning,
GMA, it's an invitation to come together.
Hey, George, how are you? Good morning.
And brighten your morning.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
X Fox 22. From the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, several people were able to escape from a raging house fire in Wynne yesterday, but one person was killed after being trapped. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, longtime Hancock County Sheriff Scott Kane is not seeking re-election after 40 years in the department. And we went back to the Piscataquis River to check on those ice jams. We'll have more on that coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather today, it'll be a partly cloudy day today with a chance of snow showers later on. Let's start out this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.